Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Before I start, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about Alexander Usyk, because in the previous video I mentioned that he was in talks with this new promotional entity, IVB Boxing, and that he was going to fight Deontay Wilder in the upcoming months in July in San Francisco, to be exact. Well, there's been a bit of bombshell news surrounding that, because it's been revealed that Alexander Usyk is in fact in talks with Zuffa Boxing. Now, a couple things. I'm gonna touch on Zuffa Boxing later, but it seems to me that obviously this entity is run by Dana White, and it's also being backed by Turki Al-Sheikh. Now, when Turkey first entered into the sport, he was throwing money like confetti, left, right, and centre, because he wanted to build the narrative. He wanted to build a sort of fast story, and he wanted the Middle East to become the global hub of boxing news and sport in general. Well, now there's been, I think, Riyadh season started in 2022, 2023, so it's been 2-3 years of that, and that has allowed him to sort of, see what works, what doesn't work, how much money is really needed, how much isn't. And I think with Zuffa Boxing, we're starting to see how Turkey is operating, because their first show is at the Apex Center in front of 500 to 1,000 people. And the card, in comparison to Turkey's first card, which was Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou, it's like night and day in terms of the star power, but also in terms of, I guess, events and how much effort was taken for the first Riyadh season event versus how much sort of effort is going into now. And I'm not saying that they've not done a lot of effort into Zuffa Boxing, but what I'm saying is that there's a clear disparity between the two. And I think Turkey is maybe realizing that, maybe he was throwing a little bit too much money there, and now with this new entity, Zuffa Boxing, he's able to maybe control the narrative a little bit more, and make fighters realize that, look, like, maybe I was throwing too much money. And we're going to start doing things properly at the Apex Center. So I guess if they can sign Alexander Usyk, then I guess it's a great signing for Zuffa, and also for Dana White, because Usyk is the most coveted heavyweight in the entire world, but also plays the question: what are Usyk's intentions for wanting to sign with Zuffa Boxing? Now, again, that deal has not finalized yet. I guess he's in that sort of era where Usyk is talking with IVB, he's talking with Zuffa, he's parted ways with Riyadh season. So I guess he's working under Turkey under a different promotional banner, this time with the backing of Dana White. So look, I think we're starting to see the shrewdness of Turkey. And which leads me nicely to the event tomorrow evening. Callum Walsh takes on Carlos Ocampo at the Meta Apex Center Arena. Now, look, Callum Walsh is a very good prospect, and one that Dana White is sort of trying to nurture into a big star. And this is it's an acid test for him, because Ocampo's been in. He's got a victory of 38-3. He's been in with the likes of oh god, my mind's gone blank. Tim Tszyu, that's it. But he stepped up and he's come short 3 times. Tim Tszyu, Errol Spence, and Sebastian Fundora. But these are good high-level fighters, and it's a really good test for Callum Walsh. And it's a really good card. The criticism maybe is that, why is it being held at the Apex Center? Well, I guess it looks like they're starting to start small, as opposed to doing maybe a mistake that Riyadh season made by starting off with these elaborate things. But I guess maybe their sort of thinking behind Zuffa is that, look, we're going to build these stars up to a point where they can then earn the big money. They're earning the right to earn their keep by then putting them on these big Ring Magazine Riyadh season shows. So almost like nurturing them, and then bam, you can go to Ring Magazine instead of going straight there. And I guess that's what they're trying to do with Jai Opetaia, right? Maybe he fights 2 times under there, then we see him in the big fights. But it's an interesting time because it feels like it's not a breeding ground, but it feels like it's a little bit like the Contender Series, right? We're gonna see how good you really are, and then we're gonna put you on the big stage. So interesting times. Another thing I wanted to touch upon is it seems as though the heavyweights are starting to grab the attention. You've got where is it? Yeah, Wilder and Chisora finalising deal for April clash in London. That was a bit of a bombshell news as well, because obviously Wilder was linked with that Usyk fight and the aforementioned IVB boxing. Now you've got Wilder taking on Derek Chisora. Chisora's 50th fight. It's a good fight for him, and I think a good fight that will really G up the UK crowd in London. I think they could sell 20, 30,000 seat stadium. Maybe the O2 Arena, the same arena as Wardley against Joseph Parker. But it depends. I guess it depends how big they want to go with it, how strong the undercard is, and then maybe they might be looking at a stadium for Chisora's 50th. But one thing's for sure is that Chisora won't go out lightly. He'll want all the stops to be put out for him, the red carpet to be laid out for him, as he finally bows out of the sport. So that's an interesting clash, and one that I'll be looking forward to. Zhang wants Daniel Dubois fight next. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good fight for both of them. Zhang's coming towards the end of his career. I think he's at 40 odd now. So he'll be looking to maybe have a couple more to sort of for his pension pot, really. And then Daniel Dubois will be a very good test for him as he bounces back from a loss to Alexander Usyk. We've seen Caballero beat Zhang. Is Daniel Dubois better than Ajit Caballero? Maybe. But we'll see against the likes of we'll see that coming through. But I think that's a good fight. Anything else? The WBC cancel on Billy against Shiraz purse bids. I think that was expected because Hamza Shiraz is now looking forward to fighting Diego Pacheco. I think that's commercially that's probably a bigger fight and one that you can get the most money for. I think if Hamza Shiraz has the fight in London, it's a 60-40 split towards Pacheco. If the fight's in the US, then vice versa. If it's at a neutral territory, then it's 50-50. My guess is maybe it headlines a Riyadh season card, or it could be on the undercard of Barrios against Garcia, maybe chief support. But I think that fight is a big enough fight for it's a big enough fight for it to be a standalone fight, I think. But anyway, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.